Football fans, we are in the middle of tailgate season, and nobody is getting you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by that local Academy store or shop online at academy.com. You'll find those grills, those canopies, those jerseys, everything you need to be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, all at undefeatable prices every day. Shop at Academy locations throughout Ohio, including in Zanesville, Springfield, and Boardman. They've got most of the state covered at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Fun can't lose, and neither can you with tailgate gear from Academy. Go to academy.com or Academy Sports and Outdoors right now. Get your gear for the late tailgate season here in November. Speaking of November, that's Mick Walker on the other side of your screen. I'm Spencer Holbrook, and we are here to talk about those November college football playoff rankings because they are officially out. The AP poll can get chucked out the window. We're still going to write about it on Sundays, but you don't really pay that much attention to it, Mick, because now we've got some new rankings coming out every Tuesday night, and they're pretty interesting for the first week. First of all, how are you? It's good to see you. And what are your first impressions of the rankings?
Like I posted on the Lettermen Lounge message board, the biggest thing I like about these rankings is whenever we post them, on three post them, they also post like the potential bracket, and you get to see like the cool matchups of like, oh, Texas Tech, Oregon would be cool in Lubbock. Notre Dame might have to go to Provo, or some of these other ones. Virginia's got to go to Oxford, Memphis and Georgia and Athens. Like, so I like seeing that, like the actual rankings 1 through 25. Seeing Tennessee get the 25th spot with 3 losses was kind of dumb. Like all that type of stuff. You can miss me with all that because it's all really just conjecture at this point. I just like seeing the brackets and not like picturing, fantasizing about the potential matchups as we would get to watch those.
Yeah, fantasizing. Great word. Because that's kind of what you start to do. It's like, oh man, get to watch that Texas Tech pass rush against those Oregon tackles that people think are going to be in the NFL next year. Like that, sign me up. Like that'd be awesome. Watching Memphis, make the trip to Athens for Memphis, Georgia. Sign me up. I would watch that in a heartbeat. I would absolutely 100%. My favorite matchup in that entire projected bracket right now, Notre Dame going to Provo, Catholics versus Mormons would be incredible. Like, I'm serious. That would be amazing. And there's no way that the TV networks would not put that game on one of the nights, whether that's Saturday night or Friday night. And so Notre Dame going into just an absolute hornet's nest in Provo would be awesome. I would love that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about the Buckeyes because, hey, I don't know if you guys know this. The Buckeyes, which is who we talk about here as I center myself up to where I'm supposed to be, the Buckeyes are the number 1 team in America, according to the college football playoff rankings. The first batch of rankings are out. Ohio State's number 1. They're ahead of Indiana. They're ahead of Texas A&M. They're obviously ahead of Alabama with 1 loss. They're ahead of the Georgia team that has 1 loss. Everyone else behind them, other than Indiana, Texas A&M, and BYU, have a loss. And so as long as Ohio State keeps winning, which we expect them to do over the next 3 weeks against Purdue, Rutgers, and UCLA before they get into the Michigan game, Ohio State's going to remain at either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Now, Indiana doesn't really have a game left on the schedule that's going to vault them ahead of Ohio State. And so I think no matter what, they've set the tone where Ohio State's going to be ahead of Indiana as long as it wins every game going into the Big Ten Championship against those Hoosiers. So I think that's something that's definitely notable because neither of these teams leading up to Ohio State, Michigan have a resume win to hang their hat on that they're going to earn over the next 3 weeks. And then Ohio State will have a chance to earn a resume win at number 21 Michigan, whereas Indiana's got to go play 2-7 Purdue in the last week of the regular season. So no matter what, if they're both undefeated heading into the Big Ten Championship game, the rankings from last night tell me Ohio State's going to be ahead of Indiana. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then it also just seems like odds are we're going to get a top 2 matchup in Indianapolis, which would just be awesome for a Big Ten championship game to be like that level. Obviously, Texas A&M has Texas coming up on the schedule. That could be a decently big one to bump them up, but they've got other games in between. Other than that, if you're going to put Indiana right there right now and they're able to finish the season undefeated against, even though they don't play anybody that's super great. I know you got to go to State College against the talented Penn State team, but they haven't beat a Big Ten opponent this year or a Power 4 opponent anyway, so not that really matters. But getting a 1-2 matchup in Indianapolis would just be awesome to see for the Big Ten Conference and obviously for our own eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, Texas A&M goes to Missouri this week. The playoff committee has Missouri ranked, which I guess is fine. They're number 22 in the CFP rankings. They also play South Carolina, who's terrible, and then they go to Texas. If they win both of those games, it won't surprise me if they're number 1 and Ohio State is number 2 and Indiana is number 3 heading into conference championship weekend, which is fine. I don't care. So the winner of the Big Ten is going to the Rose Bowl. So, like, if Ohio State wins out, it's going to the Rose Bowl. No questions asked. If Ohio State loses in the Big Ten championship game, then we'll have to talk about where Ohio State would go, probably the Cotton Bowl. If Ohio State loses to Michigan and doesn't make the Big Ten championship game, then you have to wonder where they'll be in the rankings. Are they going to host a playoff game? Are they going to be the 5th seed hosting the 12, the group of 5 school? So, like, those are some things that we can start to kind of map out now that the bracket is actually in front of us for the first time. Here's what we know about Ohio State's resume right now. The Buckeyes are number 1 in the country, obviously. The Buckeyes have a win against number 11 Texas at home by 7 points. The Buckeyes have a 3-score win on the road at Washington. So, and Washington, according to the committee, is the 23rd best team in America. Ohio State will have a chance to play number 21 Michigan on the road. So they're going to play 2 of those teams on the road. Now, I think Texas will keep winning. Texas has been looking better. It's been a weird road to hoe for Texas. They've got 2 losses. The losses are to Ohio State and to Florida. Florida is terrible. Ohio State is very clearly not terrible. Texas goes to Georgia after an off week this week. They go to Georgia on the 15th. They play Arkansas, and then they play Texas A&M. So they've got 2 top 5 games still left to play. If the Longhorns keep winning those games, the Ohio State resume continues to just skyrocket. Whereas a couple weeks ago, after Texas lost to Florida and they looked like a mess, all of a sudden you were like, hey, Texas is 3-2, and that resume for Ohio State, how good is that Texas win? Well, then they beat Oklahoma, who was number 6 in the country at the time. Then they beat Mississippi State, who has a winning record, I guess. And apparently SEC teams are trying to hang their hat on that, whatever. And then they beat a Vanderbilt team that the committee has all of a sudden decided is the number 16 team in America. So, the Ohio State resume is getting better as time goes on. It's aging like wine instead of milk, when 4 weeks ago we thought that it was going to start to age like milk after Washington got blown out at Michigan. And you think, what's the state of the Washington football team? Texas gets blown out, gets beat by Florida and didn't really look that great in that game. And you think, okay, this Ohio State resume is falling through the cracks. Now Illinois has 3 losses and they're all to ranked teams. And we've got Tennessee ranked at 6-3, but we don't have Illinois ranked at 6-3 for some reason. And I know the reason, and it's a 3-letter reason that we don't really have to get into, but I just think this Ohio State resume is looking nice right now, Mick. And if you're an Ohio State fan and you want to see them continue to be ahead of Indiana in the rankings, then you need to be rooting for Texas for the rest of the year. You need to be rooting for Washington for the rest of the year. So I just think that it's a really interesting place for Ohio State to be. They're obviously number 1. They're obviously win and get in. Nothing else really matters. If they beat Indiana in the Big Ten championship game and they're 13-0, they're going to be the 1 seed, full stop, no matter what. So, it's hard to care about them when you know that kind of stuff, but it's also interesting to look at as we project this entire thing forward, because the Ohio State resume, like I keep saying, is getting better with time.
Yeah, and we all kind of thought Texas was falling apart there. I'm not fully with Spencer on they bounced back completely. I still think they'll lose they'll lose to Texas A&M and Austin in a couple weeks. I think Spencer's on the opposite side of that coin. We'll talk about that when that game comes around here in a couple weeks when we're preparing for the final week of the regular season. But still, you beat Texas, who I think looking at it, I imagine there's a lot of idea of we don't want to talk about power ratings or numbers or that type of stuff. That's a whole different thing for gambling and whatnot. But you still have to look at the overall talent on these teams. And while Texas is underperformed relative to their talent, they're still one of the more talented teams in the country, even above where they're currently ranked in the standings. It's a similar thing to I think Washington's extremely talented. They've lost games, but they're still up there, and it's good to see them getting there in that 23rd spot as well.
Yeah. So, the Ohio State ranking is what it is. I thought Ryan Day was really good yesterday in saying that nobody cares at Ohio State. And I wrote that much. The rankings came out last night and nobody cared less than Ohio State. The Buckeyes are unique in the top 5 right now. Well, I don't know if they're unique in the top 5 because Alabama and Georgia are in the top 5, but they're in that back part of the top 5. Ohio State is positioned. Let me figure out how to say this. The Buckeyes do this every year, man. Like literally every year.
Yeah, Spencer wrote this story about how Ohio State's ignoring the rankings. He's written that years upon years now. He wrote that on like Sunday night. He's known, like, he's filled in quotes and added context, but he's known this is going to be the case for a couple days now.
So here's the deal. Georgia in the early part of the college football playoff wasn't really a factor. Mark Richt had them playing well, but it wasn't what Kirby Smart built the Bulldogs up to. Alabama has been doing this like Ohio State. So I guess Ohio State and Alabama are unique in this. They know better than to care one bit about these rankings. And Alabama probably even cares about them a little more than Ohio State because Alabama can look down in the 20s and just know, like clockwork, that the committee is going to just fall in love with some garbage SEC team that doesn't deserve to be ranked with 3 losses that still is somehow ranked, even though anytime they play a team that looks like it could make the college football playoff, they lose, which should be just disqualifying from consideration to be ranked. If you keep losing to playoff teams, you shouldn't be ranked in the playoff rankings. So the Dogs and the Tide can look down in the 20s and see, oh, there's a host of SEC teams in there. We don't have to worry about this because our resume stacks up because they keep ranking these 2 and 3 loss SEC teams high. Ohio State knows that its 6 and 3 teams and its 5 and 3 teams aren't going to get the benefit of the doubt, and the Buckeyes still don't care about these rankings. They do not care. Even last year, when they had 1 loss and it was a 1-point loss to the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State was number 2 because it played the number 1 team in the country to a 1-point game on the road. So, I just think it's interesting that like nobody cares less about these rankings than Ohio State, but hey, they're giving us content and they're giving us games in the next 3 weeks. And I want everyone to be at some of those games. Football season is in full swing. Being at the tailgates and in the stands, there's absolutely nothing better, but getting tickets for these games is a different and frustrating story sometimes. There's queues, there's endless forms, there's login screens, prices jumping at checkout, extra fees loaded on there. All you want to be is in the stadium, in the moment, cheering on your team with other fans. And these ticketing apps give you the runaround. The GameTime app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy, and the GameTime guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, Nicholas, I like to call him Nicholas, fees are included when you click on the tickets. So what you see is what you pay for. There's college football tickets for as low as $25 over there right now. Pick an upcoming event, browse through the ticket deals, and you will find a deal for you. I like using the zone deals where you click on a section, then you let GameTime do the rest. They will take care of what your seat is for you and give you the best price in that section. It's a fantastic tool. It's one of my favorite things to do. You can get concert tickets. You can get game tickets. You can get anything you need. And Lettermen Row will give you $20 off your first purchase. That's right, $20 off your first purchase in the GameTime app or over at gametime.co when you use the code ON3. That's right, the code is ON3. ON, the number 3, ON3. $20 off your first purchase in the GameTime app or at gametime.co. Go get those tickets today. We'll see you over in West Lafayette. We'll see you in Columbus for the night game in the Horseshoe against UCLA. We got a Rutgers game coming up. Could be a nice late November afternoon in the Horseshoe on Senior Day. And then obviously, if you want to go up and be enemy number 1, you can go up to Ann Arbor, get some tickets for the Ohio State-Michigan game, looking like it's going to be a banger up there. Use the GameTime app for all of that. Mick, any other thoughts on the CFP rankings?
Cool to see like Iowa get ranked. Like there was a couple discussions of like whether the Big Ten holds up or along these lines. Iowa getting in there, setting up a top 25 matchup against Oregon. Like that's good for the Big Ten overall. Like some of that stuff is cool. We mentioned like you and I have been rooting individually for the player of Mason Heinstow at Pittsburgh just because he's an Ohio guy, Northwest Ohio guy. So to see him have Pittsburgh in there, it's once you get through like the top part and you realize this is the 12 like that could or the 11 that could make it into the playoff, then it's cool to just kind of look at the back half and see, like you said, whether it's stuff that boosts resumes for different schools or just schools getting in there like after they've kind of fought through some stuff and earned it, like whether that's Pittsburgh or Iowa. So the back end of the rankings is always kind of interesting to see how it changes up.
All right, so we'll get beyond the Ohio State portion. We talked to Ohio State for like 10 minutes about the rankings. They're number 1 and they don't care. And we still got 10 minutes out of it. Thanks to you guys for watching. Appreciate it. I think Georgia Tech is criminally underrated. I know the resume isn't great, but the Bees have one loss, and winning is hard, man. Winning is hard in college football. I think people take for granted how hard winning is because we see the Alabamification and the Buckeyeification of college football, where some of these programs are winning every single year. Winning is hard, and I'd like to see the Bees rewarded for winning games. So, them being at 17, I don't love. The thing that kind of bothers me about these rankings right now, I love that they honored the Texas-Oklahoma head-to-head. Texas beat Oklahoma on a neutral field. They're ahead of them by one spot. Iowa has been playing good football. They're number 20. They're not just at 25. They're not just a latch on here. They're not just a throw in. They're at 20.
They're not Tennessee.
The committee said, hey, this is a decent football team. They're 20th. I'm not even going to talk about Tennessee, man. It's a two-part word that I'm not allowed to say because we'll get flagged and get our money taken away on this video. The initials are BS. We're not going to do this, Mick. Tennessee's ranked. Whatever. Who cares? The thing that I like, USC is ranked 19th. That's a good football team, man. And Oregon is going to see USC, Iowa, and Washington, 3 ranked teams in the next 4 weeks. That's awesome for the Big Ten. We're going to get ranked matchups in the Big Ten. That's great. I love that. Because Ohio State's not going to give us those because it's playing 3 really bad teams here at the end of the year before it gets to Michigan. The thing that I really hate about these rankings, and I'll get off my soapbox and I'll be done. Notre Dame has 2 losses by combined 4 points to 2 top teams. Okay, Miami, who's ranked 18th, and Texas A&M, who's ranked 3rd. They have 2 losses by a combined 4 points. The committee, and I understand why, threw out the head-to-head of Miami beating Notre Dame in Miami in week 1, because if you look at those 2 teams right now, they are not on the same playing field. Like Miami is really struggling right now, and Notre Dame is starting to surge. I understand why Notre Dame is ahead of Miami, and you can ignore the head-to-head in some cases. Louisville went on the road and played in the exact same stadium that Notre Dame played in against the same exact team and beat the same exact team. Beat Miami at Miami. Louisville is ranked 15th. They have 2 losses. Notre Dame went on the road at Miami and lost. They played the same team on the same field. One of them won, one of them lost, and there's 5 spots difference between the team that lost to Miami and the team that beat Miami. What are we doing?
I mean, you laid it out perfectly there. And they're like, if you asked, I don't think it's even Boo Corrigan or whoever the heck runs this thing, Mac Rhodes or whoever runs the CFP, like, if you ask them about why Notre Dame is, like, higher, there'd be some type of citation about C.J. Carr was a young quarterback. He's ascending. The team's getting better after their losses. But, like, Miami would have been the same way. So you're saying Notre Dame lost to a Miami team that probably wasn't fully formed. Louisville went into Miami midway through the season on a weeknight, on a Friday night, beat Miami in their own house, and kind of just like took it. Like they dominated them largely. Like you and I watched a lot of that game while we were in Madison, and they kind of controlled that game from start to finish. And I don't think that was the way that Notre Dame, like the way that both those games looked is kind of jarring and weird how those looked. But I mean, that's just how they were going to do it. Notre Dame is always been a love child or not a love child. They've always been a fan favorite by the CFP, and that wasn't going to change this year.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't really matter who's in charge of this thing. They just continue to put Notre Dame up there, and that's fine. I think Notre Dame is a good team. I'm not arguing against Notre Dame being a good team, and I'm not arguing against them being in the playoff. I just want some consistency there. Last thing, Mick, like watch Group of 5 football, guys. Like if Tennessee and North Texas played on the same field right now, who am I taking to win? If Tennessee and USF played on the same field right now, who am I taking to win? I understand that. That's not what we're doing here. Reward teams. North Texas is 7-1. They're playing good football. USF is playing good football. They have a few losses, but like that's a good team. Memphis is a good team. Reward these guys. What good does it do you to put Tennessee at 25 and keep out the Group of 5? Because if you're not going to rank the Group of 5 in the top 25, don't put them in the playoff. because you clearly don't care about him anyway. And then you're just throwing him a token bid to the playoff just for no reason. I don't understand it. That's all.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, they lost to Tennessee has 3 losses. They lost to 4, 5, and 12 this past weekend. Illinois in the same situation has lost to 1, 2, and 23. So and again, I'm not saying that because Illinois should be in over Pittsburgh because Pitt's been playing well. Credit to them for doing that. But the kid, honestly, both, and I enjoyed going to Illinois. I think they're a good team. If Tennessee shouldn't be ranked and Illinois shouldn't be ranked. There's better teams that deserve that 25th spot. Teams that deserve to be able to post a graphic on Tuesday night saying hey, we're 25th. We're in the CFP rankings over a 3-loss SEC team.
Yeah, I completely agree. Say it louder for the people in the back, Mick. I know you can't say it louder for the people in the back right now. That voice is a little raspy. We had a good time on Tuesday night going down to Athens, watching some Maction in person, weeknight Maction. That's another spot. If you want to go watch some weeknight Maction, you're around the state of Ohio, go to GameTime. Use the GameTime app and the GameTime.co, $20 off. That'd probably get you in the door at a pretty good price. I'm just going to be honest with you. So, for Mick Walker, on the other side of your screen, I am just Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're going to break down these rankings every Wednesday morning. We'll have this video up Wednesday morning. We're going to let everybody else do the live reactions and the outcry for certain teams to be ranked on Tuesday nights. That's fine. You guys can do that. We're going to kind of take a minute to bathe in the rankings, if you will, and make some opinions, and then come up here on Wednesday morning and discuss what it means moving forward, if that's okay with everyone else.
And also, we talk about them right after they're out. But hey, you got to come into the Lettermen Lounge to hear Spencer ramble about it a little bit, to hear me kind of share my piece. Austin Ward, Jeremy Birmingham, come on, come get the exclusive content to read Spencer's column, to enjoy that, and then come into the Lettermen Lounge message board and complain about how Tennessee does not deserve to be ranked, or how Michigan is just a bad team, or I don't know what you want to complain about, but you can find a way to complain about something.
Yeah, I mean, come complain with us over in the Lettermen Lounge. That's a great sales pitch, man. Come complain in the Lettermen Lounge. We'd love to have you guys. $1 for your first 7 days. That's Mick Walker over there. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys back here next Wednesday for a breakdown of the next rankings after they come out. We'll see you over in the Lettermen Lounge, where you can come hang out with us and talk to us every day, basically 24 hours a day. It's cooking over there, if you will. And we'll see you guys back here on this YouTube channel on Thursday for another breakdown of the Buckeyes. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys over at LettermenRow.com.